Angel Reese was supposed to be the WNBA's next breakout star, the Bayou Barbie, who would turn college fame into pro dominance. Instead, her career is starting to slide. The sponsorship wave that once followed her is slowing down. Her impact on the court is fading. The day-to-day injury line is starting to feel worn out, and the Chicago Sky are losing ground without her. At the same time, the players around her are winning the attention she used to own. Sophie Cunningham is surging in merch sales. Caitlin Clark is filling arenas and turning everything she does into a viral moment. Reese is stuck watching the spotlight move to everyone else. People close to the league say the warning signs are showing up, engagement is down, and the public mood is turning. Even the mid-season push she made for the All-Star spot now looks less like a basketball mission and more like image control. As the Sky keep losing, the feeling is growing that Reese is defending her brand more than her team, and if that is the plan, it is failing fast, because in pro sports the brand only stays strong when the performance stays strong, and right now Reese is losing while her rivals are cashing in. Not long ago, her rise looked unstoppable. She went from LSU's title run to fully owning the Bayou Barbie identity, with highlights, confidence, and social media power all working together. Brands rushed in sportswear, beauty, energy drinks. She was the perfect marketing package. At 6'3" with swagger and a championship name, she looked like the next WNBA star who could cross into mainstream culture. When she arrived in Chicago, it came with noise and big expectations, and early on she played into it: double-doubles, big rebounds, trash talk, and constant viral moments. When early All-Star voting left her behind, she responded with her best stretch yet: 10 straight games with non-stop energy, battling for boards and proving she could match the branding with real production. Then it suddenly went quiet. A back injury with no clear moment, no clear details, and no real timeline. Game after game she stayed listed as day-to-day, but the updates never became clear, and her absence in major matchups, especially against the Indiana Fever, made people question what was really going on when she did not even travel for a game that should have been huge. That is when it stopped being only a basketball issue and became a business issue, because while Reese sat, her rivals started taking her space. Caitlin Clark also missed time, but the difference was clarity. Her injury story had details, her return plan was visible, and she still stayed in view, showing up for games, supporting teammates, staying connected to fans, and that matters because sponsors and fans reward presence. Reese did the opposite, and her momentum started to wobble. Her engagement dipped, campaigns cooled, and the merch surge slowed. In sports marketing, attention is the real currency, and when you are not winning and not visible, someone else steps in. Cunningham's merch numbers spiked. Other rookies grabbed big moments in prime time. Reese, who used to be at the center of everything, began to fade into the background, and in this league that can turn into career damage quickly. Behind the scenes, more people started saying the same uncomfortable thing, that Reese seemed more focused on brand building than basketball, and as Chicago fell apart, the Bayou Barbie seemed to disappear, leaving teammates and sponsors wondering where the fight went. The real turning point came when her absence stopped looking temporary and started looking like a mystery. Fans were patient at first because injuries happen and the season grind is real, but as weeks passed, the questions got louder: why no travel, why no clear updates, and why no direct message from Reese herself? And while she was gone, the Sky looked weaker, their offense stalled, their rebounding suffered, and their inside defense collapsed, and every loss made her absence feel bigger. At the same time, her rivals were not just playing well, they were using the moment. Cunningham leaned into her rising popularity, promoted her merch hard, and sold out fast, and she was gaining fans for both her on-court edge and her off-court hustle. Clark stayed visible on the sidelines, signing autographs, talking to fans, doing interviews, and her jersey sales did not dip, they climbed, and the message to the public was simple: being seen still counts. Then the rumors changed everything. Reports from people around the league suggested Reese was not only recovering, she was being careful on purpose. The claim was that she was protecting future deals by avoiding the risk of coming back in a season Chicago might not save. The suggestion was not just that she was hurt, but that she was choosing to stay out, and some even said she was working on off-court deals during that time. If that was true, it matched what fans were seeing: more fashion and lifestyle posting, and less visible rehab or basketball updates. The reaction split instantly. Some said she had every right to protect her body and career, while others said she left her teammates hanging during a crucial stretch. For Chicago, it became a mess. Sponsors expected big TV moments, but instead got an empty spot in the lineup. The team buzz dropped, ticket demand softened, and local coverage started asking out loud if this whole experiment was failing. While her camp may have thought they were being smart, her rivals kept winning the public battle. Cunningham hinted about players who talk but do not show it. Clark praised teammates who always show up, and fans read between every line. By the time Reese realized the story was turning against her, the damage was already spreading, and she went from rising star to constant controversy before the season even ended. National media ran segments about her absence instead of Chicago's record analysts debated whether she was overhyped, and sponsors started quietly shifting away. An apparel plan got pushed back, an ad rollout slowed, and an energy drink company moved attention toward Clark. Cunningham hosted events and kept her brand growing while Reese stayed off the floor, and Clark's rehab updates were packaged like a comeback series, and every move they made kept them in the spotlight Reese once owned. Then came the biggest hit. A leaked report said Reese had passed on playing in several key games, even after doctors cleared her for limited minutes, and the reason was fear that weaker stats could lower her endorsement value. That turned the narrative into something harsher: brand before team. Former players ripped her on podcasts, saying real hoop players play hurt. Analysts debated her commitment daily, and even neutral fans started asking what she was really in this for. The Sky front office reportedly held tense internal meetings about her future, and even without direct quotes, reporters noticed the change around the team: fewer warm moments when she showed up and colder body language. The shift was obvious. Reese was no longer being treated like the unstoppable new face, she was being treated like a warning story. When the leak spread, social media exploded. Hashtags trended for days, and clips of her fashion shoots and brand deals were reposted with heavy sarcasm. Supporters argued that male athletes make business choices too and do not face the same level of heat, but the criticism stayed louder. Fans complained about paying to see a star who did not play. Radio shows turned it into a daily argument, and TV debate shows ran full segments on the Angel Reese problem. Some defended her right to protect long-term health, while others said she was sending the wrong message to young athletes. Then sponsors reacted in ways that made it real. One brand quietly removed her from big homepage spots, another campaign shifted toward Cunningham, and a rumored sneaker deal pause became a public talking point. Around the league, some players privately understood the money side, but others saw it as against the culture of showing up and battling, and the idea that the locker room had moved on from trusting her started to feel believable. Meanwhile, Cunningham threw another subtle jab, saying some of us show up every night, and Clark said nothing, but her constant public presence, charity work, game attendance, and fan interaction became a quiet contrast that spoke louder than words. By the end of that stretch, Reese was not just a young star, she was a polarizing figure, someone who could still sell headlines, but whose commitment would now be questioned every time she sat. Just when it looked like she was losing full control, Reese went live on Instagram in front of a massive audience and finally spoke without a scripted look. She said she had been labeled selfish, lazy, and money-hungry, but claimed people were ignoring the truth, promises made to her and then broken. She hinted that parts of the Chicago Sky organization did not deliver on things tied to her contract, sponsorship guarantees, and training support, and if that was true, it could turn into a serious legal fight. Then she dropped the line that set off chaos. She told fans the next time they see her on the court, it will not be where they think. That single sentence blew everything up: trade rumors, overseas rumors, even wild talk about leaving the league. Within hours, insiders said the Sky held an emergency meeting. Sponsors reacted in different directions, some pulling back, others leaning in to ride the drama. Cunningham posted a cryptic message about knowing where home is. Clark stayed silent, and that silence somehow made the moment louder. After that, Reese went quiet again. No follow-up, no press event, just the cliffhanger hanging over the league. Now Reese is at a crossroads. Sponsorships are slipping, rivals are thriving, fans are divided, and her one live stream flipped the story again. The next move decides everything. Does she come back and shut everyone up with real play, or does she lean fully into her off-court empire and let the basketball part fade into unfinished potential? Is a big trade coming, or does she shock the league by walking away? This is not just a sports story anymore, it is the kind of moment that can reshape a career and change how people remember an era. If you have followed her since LSU, or you just like rivalries that feel like a series, the next chapter will be must-watch. Stay locked and share your take and decide for yourself, is this the start of the comeback or the beginning of the end? After Reese's Instagram live, the entire league felt even more tense. Fans clipped that stream into short videos and pushed it across every platform, and everyone started giving her one line their own meaning. The Chicago Sky still didn't give a clear response, which only made the rumors grow. Media outlets treated the silence like proof that something bigger was happening, and the same question kept getting repeated everywhere. Is Reese coming back to shut everyone up, or is she setting up her exit? Inside the team, the pressure doubled because the rest of the season stopped being only about wins and turned into a trust issue in the locker room. Sponsors also split into two groups, some backed away to avoid the drama, while others saw the attention as a chance to push harder. For Ree, the risk is simple and brutal. If she returns and plays average, critics will say they were right, but if she doesn't return, people will label it as brand first, forever. Her rivals didn't slow down, either. Cunningham kept building the image of non-stop work, and Clark didn't need words because her constant presence created the comparison on its own. Now time is running out, and the path forward is getting narrower. If Reese wants a comeback story, she has to speak with her game, not with posts, because if she waits too long, the narrative won't be hers anymore, and her next chapter will be written by headlines instead of her choices. Stay locked and share your take and decide for yourself, is this the start of the comeback or the beginning of the end?